You just came back from a photo shoot and you're ready to download your photos into your computer or your hard drive, and either you're putting them all together into one big catalog that is making your computer run slower every day, or you don't really know how to organize them in a way that allows you to find them quick and it doesn't slow your computer down. In this video, we're going to talk about how to best organize your Lightroom catalogs. Hello everybody, my name is Javier Salazar. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to best organize your photos and your Lightroom catalogs in your computer for a couple of reasons. The main one is so that your computer keeps running fast and you're not slowing down because you have thousands of photos in your catalog. I know that Lightroom is designed so that it can host a lot of different photos in there, but it gets to a point in which you have so many photos in there and Lightroom has to load so many previews that your computer will slow down. So there are better ways to do that. You might have been researching already and found that a lot of people like splitting the catalogs, one per shoot as opposed to one catalog with all your photo shoots. I agree with that. That's what I've been doing for a while, and it works better for me. I also don't find the need to have all the photos from my different clients into the same catalog. Another thing that a lot of people suggest is to organize your photos by date. And while that is okay, I find that that's not necessarily the best way to do it. I find that years after, I don't remember when I took those photos, and I have to be thinking a lot about that, and I have to go through a lot of different folders and everything. So I have a better way in which I've been doing it for years. Works a lot better for me, makes it a lot easier for me to find the photos or move catalogs around to backup and all this stuff, to publish them into social media or just get back to clients with new copies and so on. So the first thing to mention is that I don't organize my photos by date. I organize my photos by client. I create one folder per client, and within that folder, then I can create however many folders I have for the different shoots that I do for them. In this example, we have a wedding, and here we have some headshots and portraits for the business owner. But the idea is that within one folder, you can have again as many shots as you have. It's a lot easier to find the client by name than to try to think of what date in 2020 I shot, or in 2016 I took the photos of a specific person. Once you find the client, then within that folder, then you can organize them by date if you want. I do have a few in which I write the full date starting by year, but most times I just add the year. This obviously depends on how frequently you shoot for that client. If you shoot for them once a year, then all you need to do is say something like this, where you can say Halloween 2018, Christmas 2019, and that should be enough for you to find those photos. So anyway, imagine that this is my photos from my card. I typically will grab the card and bring it to a folder called Capture. This folder is stored in my external hard drive, and so I'm thinking here this is my client folder. I put my photos in Capture. And then I'm going to go to Lightroom, and I'm going to create a new catalog. You can come here to File, New Catalog. Let me show you from the beginning. So File, New Catalog. It'll open this window, and you have to look for your folder, sample folder, and then in here you type your catalog's name. We're just going to use this generic name and create. What Lightroom is going to do is going to close first and then reopen with that new catalog, and then we're going to import the photos from our Capture catalog. So in this case, I'm going to go to Clients. I'm going to go to my sample folder that we're using, and then to Capture. And then I got to make sure that this is Add in here. It says Add. I usually have this checked, and all I do is say Import. At this moment, then Lightroom is not moving the files from where they were. They'll be there. You're controlling where the files are. Within Lightroom, you could decide the location of the files so that you import them directly from the SD into that location. But I find that doing that makes it so that every time I import photos, I have to change the location. Well, if I do it directly in Finder, it seems just a little bit, it's a little bit easier for me to do it directly in Finder. One of the big advantages of doing it this way is that Lightroom then now is only gonna load the previews of the photos for this photo shoot, which means that the catalog file size is a lot smaller and your computer is gonna be able to handle it a lot better. The next thing that I do is to select my photos. These were already pre-selected, so I'm gonna just say 0 in them so that we can start from the beginning. And then as I start going through them, I just mark the ones that I want with 1. If I'm sure about them, I can maybe say a 2. If not, then I'll go back to all the ones and then do a second pass to see which ones I want to be a 2. But most times I'm just doing a 1 here and there, so that I can select the photos that create the best impression for me at the beginning. And then all I'm doing is clicking the key number 1 or number 2 in any of these photos. And then over here, I can come and say, in my filters, I can say rated and select the ones that have 1 star. With that, it'll select everything that has 1 or more stars, and then with that I can start seeing my selection. And so if you notice over here, it'll tell you that I imported originally 53 photos and so far I've selected 11. So you can go back and forth with your selection process, and I usually just do a full pass of all my photos and I just mark random 1, then I filter just the one that has the 1, and then I do a second selection to see the ones that are similar. Then I just select one of them and mark them with 2. So at the end of the day, all my selections have 2 stars, and then at that moment I can go into the develop mode for Lightroom and do all my edits. Once I edit, I'm gonna skip this step because it's not relevant for this particular video, but once I edit a photo, then I will mark it as a 3. So 3s for me they were just edited, they're gonna be part of what I give to my client, but I can also mark 4s or 5s for my favorite photos. So these are the ones that I use in my social media accounts, and I suggest my clients to print in canvases or whatnot. Once I've done all that, I select all my photos ranked with 3 stars, and I'm gonna export them into 2 different folders. One of them is gonna be high resolution files, which are the full resolution of my files. I shoot with a Nikon D800, so my files are 36 megapixels. The files are gonna be relatively heavy, so I don't wanna be managing those files a lot. So I also export them in low resolution, and that low resolution for me is a maximum of 2400 by 2400 pixels. So I'm gonna cancel this, but I'm going to show you where I would put those folders. So then I create within my same folder for my client, I create a folder called high res and a folder called low res. And these are the photos really that I care about. Now, I never delete the capture photos. I always leave them in there in case the client wants me to look for something else. But I usually, after this point, I only manage my high resolution files. I put my high resolution files in the online gallery that I show my clients so that they can buy prints or canvas or frames. And in that online gallery, they can also download low resolution files. The low resolution files that I have in here are basically for my own use. I don't usually give them out, but it allows me then to just again have photos for social media, for my Instagram and Facebook account and all that. You could also use this high resolution folder to back it up, copy it to a different hard drive. Your online gallery will be one of those backup places, and so technically you should end up having it in 3 locations, right? So your this current hard drive that you're working on, your online gallery, and then if you copy it to another hard drive, you're safe, you have it in 3 locations. Okay, last thing to mention is that I have a folder up here that is called sample folder and already has this structure. So all I do is copy this folder, go into my client's folder, paste it, and then in this case it's going to say that I'm replacing it, but once I paste it, then I can come to the folder and change the name for whatever name I have, and then that's how I keep track of where my photos are. It makes it a lot easier to find that one folder than to find a date or try to remember a date in the past. You can also export all the photos that you rank with 4 or 5 stars from all your different clients and put them all together into one folder create one catalog with those images. That'll be the catalog for your portfolio. From there, you can have access to your best shots without having to go through every single folder. That's just a little extra step. Again, at the end, just export your favorite photos, put them into a new catalog, and you're set. I hope this has been helpful. Let me know any questions that you have in the comments. Please don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.